This is BOI Weekly. Thank you for joining us on the program that is powered by Nigeria's oldest, largest, and most successful development finance institution. I am Kumbi Aboluade, and warm welcome to you. This week we'll kick off from Abuja, where Zeenab Foods, a company which engages in the production, processing, and packaging of agricultural commodities for local and international customers, is making good use of the loan from the federal government's Manufacturing Sector Fund, disbursed by the Bank of Industry, to not only scale up its operations, but also create job opportunities for Nigerians. Let's take a look.
Rice milling at Zeenab Foods Limited, one of the few rice millers and agro-processing companies in Nigeria, contributing its quota to the development of the non-oil sector of the country's economy. Zeenab Foods Limited is a subsidiary of Zeenab Group, which was established about 15 years ago. The company's rice mill has an installed milling capacity of 120 tons per day. The Executive Director of Operations at Zeenab Foods, Dr. Adamu, is proud of the company's journey so far and the role the loan from FGN Manufacturing Sector Fund, being disbursed by BOI, played in the sustenance of the organization's operations.
The company started in the year 2011, and it has been chains of growth despite the challenges, but we have been growing strength to strength. We started with our first commodity or product, the Zeenab palm oil. From there, we moved into commodity, and currently we are into exports of various agricultural commodity. And incidentally, we are the operators of the Nigerian Export Trade House, China, and other Far East countries. Sometimes you hear stories you don't believe. We never believed that the development banks in Nigeria are functional, but we are proven wrong. The first instance, it was a mere application. Somebody said we should just try. We just wrote forth our application, and before you know it, we got offer letter. That was our first surprise from BOI. And since then, we have enjoyed a lot of other facilities. Currently, we have just enjoyed facility for expansion in terms of asset financing and also working capital requirement. So they have really assisted our business. We didn't believe that it is that easy.
The Chief Financial Officer and Head of Customer Service at Zeenab Foods also add their voices, speaking to the growth and expansion of the brand.
For Zeenab Foods, our target is to be in every home. And with this project, this funding, we are seeing that happening. Because before now, our rice is not available to all because the demand is much for it. So the essence of this project is to increase that production line so that this rice can now be available to all. And on the global scale, we're already there. We're already doing business in international markets. With this now, we'll be able to cover more of Nigeria markets.
We are very meticulous with our processes. First of all, there is commodity sourcing where even if it is, let me talk to the rice paddy for instance, for the rice mill, you have to aggregate from areas where rice paddy are available, talking about Niger, Nasarawa, Benue, and several other states where we get these products from. We identify them and we do not just blindly procure. We ensure that our quality control team goes alongside with every truck to ensure that what we are bringing to the factory is what will give us a very good head rice at the end of the day. Having done that, the commodities, when they get to the factory, they still go through the process of scrutiny to ensure that there is no process where it's standing to jeopardize the end product. Pre-cleaning, it goes to the parboiling. After there, it goes to the dryer. The dryer sends it to the silos and then take it to the mill for proper milling, where you have the separation, the grading, the destoning, the polishing and whitening done, and then we bag properly. So it is meticulously put together all of the time.
Recently, a delegation from the Bank of Industry and the Manufacturers Association of Nigeria paid a field visit to the factory of Zeenab Foods at Idu Industrial Layout, Abuja, to see and evaluate the impact of the loan from FGN Manufacturing Sector Fund on the company's operations.
Our rice mill used to be 120 metric tons, and now we have gotten support to increase it to 240. So we are growing. For staff strength, we have a lot. Those that are directly on our payroll, they're in excess of 200 plus directly. Then beside that, there are those that come in ad hoc. So we have employed, and even the rice mill we are planning to expand. That one will even bring in additional 100 staffs. The machines we have ordered, they have started arriving, and we have started doing the steel work.
The management of Zeenab Foods Limited say the company is more than ready to continue to build and integrate business strategies that capture the entire agricultural commodities value chain from farm gate to its processing facilities for onward distribution to local and international consumers.
From Abuja, let's head to Lagos, where a high-impact engagement that is focused on SME sustainability and expansion through the capital market. Industry leaders and capital market experts, through insightful presentations and discussions, share practical strategies on financial inclusion and economic growth for small and medium enterprises.
It's a gathering of industry leaders, SMEs, and capital market stakeholders at the 2025 SMEs Workshop organized by the Bank of Industry in collaboration with the Nigeria Exchange Group, with the theme Unlocking Growth, Leveraging the Capital Market for SME Sustainability and Expansion in the BOI head office in Lagos. This collaboration is born out of the need to explore actionable pathways for driving SME growth through capital market opportunities. The Divisional Head, Business Development Division at the Bank of Industry, Mr. Obaro Osa, in his welcome address, identifies the collective drive to build stronger medium-sized enterprises.
A lot of business in Nigeria, after the first generation, they die. Why do they die? Because the ship promoter, the person has the idea, the person has the vision, the man is no more, the woman is no more. The kids may not be interested. They've gone to school in America, they've gone to Canada, they don't come to Nigeria. So what happens to the business? The business collapses. So what we're trying to do here is an attempt to resolve that challenge. To say it is better to own 25% of a billion than 100% of 50 million. So as we gather here today, we are creating a unique platform that not only fosters knowledge exchange, but also strengthens linkage between SMEs and the capital market, an increasingly critical channel for long-term business growth. This initiative is proud outcome of the MOU executed between the bank and Nigeria Stock Exchange in 2022, which has continually come true a shared commitment and strategic alignment to see how business in Nigeria can evolve.
In his opening remark, the Chief Executive Officer of the Nigeria Exchange Group, Mr. Jude Chiemeka, speaks to the goal the event aims to achieve to address barriers and equip SMEs with finance and pathways they need to thrive.
This event underscores our shared commitment to deepening Nigeria's capital markets and creating new pathways for SME growth, visibility, sustainable financing, as well as enhancement in their jurisdictions. We are pleased to have you here as we engage in dialogue aimed at addressing persistent barriers to SME access to capital markets funding. Through this engagement, we hope to co-create viable market-driven solutions that will unlock long-term capital, boost investor confidence, and position Nigeria SMEs for sustainable growth. Our partnership with the Bank of Industry is focused on expanding capital market access, enhancing financial literacy, and driving retail investor participation. By combining Bank of Industry's deep expertise in development finance with NGX's market infrastructure, we aim to equip SMEs with the tools, knowledge, and financing pathways they need to thrive.
Representing the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Bank of Industry, Dr. Olasukbo Olusi, the Executive Director, Corporate Finance and Investments at BOI, Mr. Rotimi Akinde, recognizes the important roles of the SMEs and the impact of this event for them.
This gathering is more than a meeting of minds. It is equally a clarion call, highlighting and harnessing the transformative power of the capital market in financing Nigeria's economic actors, especially the SMEs. The Bank of Industry's mission as Nigeria's leading development financial institution is clear, and it's simple. It is to catalyze inclusive, sustainable industrial growth. But beyond this, we see ourselves as a market shaper, where we mobilize capital, we build ecosystems, and also crowd in private capital investments, which is something that is very germane to the SMEs. The capital markets today offers one of the most powerful and underutilized channels to achieve this, enabling businesses to access long-term capital, improve upon governance, and build resilience against economic shocks and headwinds that we face in Nigeria. For us in BOI, towards the latter part of last year, we developed what we call the 2025 to 2027 strategic plan. And part of that strategic plan was in recognition of the limitations that are imposed on a lot of financial institutions that continue to just embrace the traditional debt financing option. And so, as part of that plan, we've embedded into it some form of structured debt, blended instruments, guarantees, and equity participation tools that we can deploy to unlock capital, especially for the SMEs. Additionally, in BOI, we've recently just finalized our sustainability finance framework, which has equally been endorsed by an international second-party opinion provider. And so we're at the verge of going into the international markets to raise what we consider green, social, and sustainability-linked type of capital, with SMEs at the core who will be the main beneficiary of this sort of capital.
It's time to go into the nitty-gritty of the day's engagement, as both the representatives of the Bank of Industry and the Nigeria Exchange Group unveil the plans on how to leverage the capital market for SME sustainability and expansion.
The first thing most founders will tell you is, I don't even understand what the capital market is. I don't even understand what a bond issuance is. I don't even understand what equity listings is. And behind it is this unfound fear that if you go public, you're going to lose your company. Let me categorically state it here that there is nobody that has gone public with their company and lost control of their company. Not the Dangote, not the Edumelus, nobody, not the Cure. You can list on the capital market and still have control of your company. We've talked about inadequate corporate governance structures. Most of the SMEs are unstructured. It's a one-on business. He's the CEO, he's the CFO, he's the tax person. Yes, so he's everything. And the thing about the public market is you can't take money from the market and 2 days later we see you driving the latest Rolls Royce in town just because it's your company. It doesn't just happen. It instills discipline and confidence in you. So these are some of our products for today. It's basically equities, fixed income ETFs, and derivatives.
Where we come in as a relevant financial institution is to be able to build that gap where there's market failure, where it exists. And we bring the funding to be able to ensure that where government cannot do, we do. But the commercial banks cannot do, we do. So, I mean, the earlier speakers have spoken to that fact, the fact that we have to intervene in the space. So, creativity becomes very critical. So, our 3-year strategy that was approved by the board in November last year is basically trying to ensure that we truly deploy every naira to where it matters most in a way that ultimately impact can be achieved. So beyond financial performance, I think what we're now more focused on is impact of every naira that we deploy. And we'd rather deploy the money and ensure that Nigeria benefits more than even BOI benefits. And so our focus is kind of shifted a bit. We've done about 6 months already of strategy. It's 2025, 2027, so we're really running out of time. Our objective as a division is to ensure that in 2.5 years, we have a variance of 6 months before we begin to move.
Other stakeholders speak on their take on capital market integration of SMEs.
We have recommendations that we think we could really work upon. SMEs now, because I'm looking at it, I can't just bring them onto stock exchange immediately. And we should try to be sure that our monetary policy is friendly, is recuperated in a way that SME can benefit from it. Just to think that, look, without capital, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. You need to grow. Even if you ask me to innovate, if I innovate, what do I do next? I need to grow. How do I expand? And so we need capital. We really need to be sure that this is very important. And long-term capital is the key. Since capital goes to where it will generate profit, then while we are talking around there, we need to think about the environment that business operates. Then while we are working on NGX to onboard them, we need to play with the government to look at the fiscal policy that will assist SMEs.
According to a national survey on MSCMEs done by SMEDAN and the National Bureau of Statistics, we have about 40 million SMEs, most of which are micro enterprises. Still, a growing percentage operate within the small and medium categories. These businesses account for approximately 48% of Nigeria's GDP, contribute 7.3% export earnings, and provide 84% of total employment. According to a 2024 MSCME competitiveness survey by Fit Foundation, nearly 60% of SMEs cite access to finance as number one barrier to growth. While our SMEs are rich in ideas, energy, and resilience, they are severely capital constrained, structurally unsupported, and excluded from scale-enabling financial systems. This is where the capital market, particularly structured equity and debt instruments, should come in as a sustainable solution and alternative.
The event then goes into interactive sessions, with the distinguished panelists responding to some of the questions and concerns of the participants, while also charting the ways to sustain and maintain SMEs and also some of the requirements that will enable SMEs scale up to achieve equity investment.
Three main things. One is just governance. We spoke about that quite a bit. The second is just accounts, right, and having an auditable history that we can follow. And then the third is just a potential, a desire or lack of desire perhaps to have partners in the business.
If you want to scale as an SME, you want to, what the first thing you should do is have what we call introspection. Where I am, where do I want to go? What do I need to do to get to where I want to go? So that is where we talk about vendor due diligence, right? Diligence yourself. Engage a professional to diligence you. You have to do legal due diligence, you do tax due diligence, and you do financial due diligence, right? This will tell you where your business is, the things you need to do to get to a level that somebody will be willing to either provide you debt or make equity investment in your institution. And then in relation to governance, that will also tell you the governance issues that you have. What do you need to do to ensure that you have an institution that it is not just people on your board and not those that you say, oh, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. You want people that can look you in the eye and say, no, we shouldn't do it this way, let's do it this way, so that we achieve what we want.
For those who qualify, for those who have gotten to that stage, the capital market is not for every company, I must say. But for the companies who qualify and are due for it, it's always my recommendation that you get listed and be able to raise capital when it's required. So I dare say that raising capital is about capital structure. Your capital structure is about your individual business, it's about your industry, it's about the economy at that time, it's about the use of proceeds.
We have a program called the TFSC, that's Transforming Financial Systems for Climate, which we are doing alongside with the AFD, which unlocked about 100 million euros for us. What that does for us is training us in BOI as well as our clients to prepare them for ESG integration into their businesses, right? That is helping unlocking capital. We have a team that is also dedicated to non-interest financing. That is another pool of financing that is being unlocked. In terms of additionality, we're also looking at, in terms of credit guarantee companies. Somebody spoke about bank guarantees, right? So what we are looking at is working with companies that help to guarantee some of these transactions that will help to unlock, to de-risk a portfolio and unlock more money. Sometimes we go into companies in our corporate finance function. We have an advisory team. We have an equity investment desk that I head. And when we look at some of these companies, we try to identify areas where we can help them in terms of their operations.
Overall, the Executive Director, Risk Management and Business Development at BOI, Mr. Oluwatoyin Edu, gives reassurance on the readiness of the bank of industry to support enterprises in Nigeria.
With all that we have said here, one thing is certain. BOI is on both sides of the spectrum. What spectrum are we talking about? Supply and demand side of fund to both MS. In fact, everybody, once you are, and you have anything to do with industry or engineering, industrial growth in Nigeria, BOI is home for you. That pipeline, the specialty within which we can take the fund and disburse it transparently. So if you come into BOI, whether it's a state government intervention, whether it's our global partners from across the sea, whether it's even a BOI fund itself, you can always come into BOI and have a place to tell yourself that this is a place, one, you'll get the transparency and be able to deliver on the effectiveness of that catalyzing the industrial growth of the country. We're all partners together. Our doors are open. We do not have limits. Whether you are Dangote or you are the laundry demand that has a job that talked about dry cleaning business, we're open for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching BOI Weekly. Don't make it a date with us, same time next week. But remember, all the social media platforms of the Bank of Industry are active for you to engage with and get more information on the products and services of the Bank of Industry. Once again, thank you for your time on the show. I'll see you again same time next week. I am Kumbi Aboluade. Bye for now.